I feel like we have to start this by just, acknowledging the elephant in the room with patchouli.
Mm-hmm. The cultural baggage.
The cultural baggage, because when you hear that word, your mind just like immediately goes to a very specific place, doesn't it? A place with a lot of incense.
It really does. You've hit the nail on the head. Patchouli oil, which comes from the plant Pagostemon cablin, it just has this huge reputation problem.
Yeah.
People either love it or they completely write it off because of that whole 60s vibe. It's due for a total reputation reboot.
It totally is. And that was kind of the goal when we were looking at the material for this,
Yeah.
right? To just set aside all that history and find out why it's so valued in, serious modern skincare.
In clinical aromatherapy, yeah. It's time to look at the chemistry, not the cliche.
And the very first thing that jumps out is that this oil, unlike pretty much every other essential oil, it actually gets better with age.
Yeah, that's just fascinating. Most oils fade away, but this one, it evolves. The longer you store it properly, the deeper and richer it gets.
That's such a great place to start. And its history is.
Yeah.
It's also not what you'd expect. How did this really earthy scent become a symbol of, like, Victorian high society?
It's a fantastic bit of, well, accidental branding, really. In the 18th and 19th centuries, it got tied to these luxury cashmere shawls coming from India.
Okay.
They packed the patchouli leaves in with the fabric to keep moths and other insects away during the long sea voyage.
So it wasn't a perfume, it was pest control.
It was purely functional, but the scent just stuck, It became this accidental smell of authenticity, of luxury.
Wow.
So if you got a letter back then that smelled of patchouli, you knew it was from someone, upper class. It was a status symbol.
That completely reframes it. Okay, so for anyone who's a formulator, we're talking about Pagostemon cablin. And on the INCI label, you'll see Pagostemon cablin leaf oil.
That's the one.
But let's jump into the chemistry, because how it's processed seems to define everything about it.
It absolutely does. It's made by steam distillation, but not from fresh leaves. Fresh leaves have this thin, kind of green, sharp smell that you don't really want.
Right. I remember reading the leaves have to be dried first. But there's another step before that, isn't there? A really crucial one.
Yes, and this is key for the quality. The dried leaves are often allowed to ferment a little bit before they go into the still.
Ferment, like on purpose.
Sometimes just slightly, sometimes very deliberately. This fermentation process promotes all these chemical changes that, well, they create that deep, rich aroma and boost all the therapeutic qualities we're looking for.
That's amazing. It's like a deliberate maturation.
Yeah.
And the blog had a really practical tip about the equipment, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. This is a great little insider tip. If you're making creams or serums, you need to know this. If the oil was distilled in older iron equipment, you can sometimes get tiny iron particles in the oil.
And what does that do?
Well, as your cream sits there and oxidizes a bit, you might notice this faint pinkish or brownish color appearing on the surface. But a well-distilled oil from modern stainless steel containers won't do that. It's a good sign of a quality supplier.
That is super useful to know. Okay, so composition. Why is it so heavy and grounding? It's nothing like a lemon or a pine oil.
It's a totally different chemical class. It's almost entirely made of these heavy molecules called oxygenated sesquiterpenes. There's very little of the light, floaty monoterpene stuff you get in citrus oils.
So if lemon oil is like a quick, bright flash, what does patchouli's heavy chemistry mean in practice?
It means it's an anchor. It evaporates really, really slowly. You put it on your skin, and that scent, that effect, it lasts.
Right.
It's also less volatile, so it oxidizes much slower, which gives it a great shelf life. And it tends to be less irritating on the skin when you use it properly.
It's a foundational piece, and the main player here is patchouli, right? Patchouli alcohol.
Precisely. Patchouli can make up, anywhere from 25 to 40% of the oil. It's what makes it thick, gives it that grounding quality, and it's what makes it an amazing natural fixative.
What does that mean, a fixative?
It basically holds on to other lighter scents and stops them from just evaporating away instantly. It gives a blend staying power.
And this is where it gets really interesting for anyone working with, say, cannabis topicals. The blog pointed out the beta-caryophyllene.
Yes, this is a key connection for formulators. Beta-caryophyllene is this spicy, woody terpene in patchouli, maybe 2 to 5%. And why that matters is that beta-caryophyllene is also really common in many cannabis strains.
So they're speaking the same chemical language.
That's a perfect way to put it. That shared chemistry means patchouli just blends seamlessly into cannabinoid-rich topicals. It doesn't just smell good with them. It creates this this chemical harmony.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just about the smell.
Not at all. It helps cover up some of those less pleasant grassy notes from hemp extracts. And some people believe it actually enhances the localized effects, creating a sort of broader terpene environment on the skin.
Okay, that's brilliant. And just to circle back to the aging, it's those heavy sesquiterpenes that are responsible for it improving over time.
Yep. As the oil ages, those sesquiterpene alcohols just integrate more fully.
Yeah.
The rough edges soften. The whole aroma becomes rounder, more sophisticated. It really is the fine wine of essential oils.
I love that. Okay, let's talk about skin and scalp because this is where its real functional value comes through.
This is where you see it as a true restorative ingredient. The blog was really clear that it's not about quick fixes. It's about supporting the skin's own long-term healing processes.
That's a key distinction. For cosmetic use, it mentioned toning and firming the skin. Does that mean it could help with things like large pores?
It can, yeah. By helping to tone the skin and regulate its function, it can help make pores look smaller over time. And it's great for helping to smooth the appearance of fine lines. It's just a great support for the skin's structure.
Which also makes it perfect for damaged skin, right? Like aging skin or skin that's stressed out from weather or even just washing it too much.
Exactly. It helps the skin find its rhythm again. It's an oil of comfort and stability. It helps skin that's been through a lot to just settle down.
And the blog had some great ideas for blending it with carrier oils. What was
Yeah.
the one with tamanu oil?
Oh, yeah. Tamanu oil is well known for supporting scar tissue. When you add patchouli to that, you're just amplifying that regenerative support.
And with calendula oil.
You get this really deep, effective, soothing blend for skin that's chapped, irritated, or inflamed. Patchouli just reinforces what calendula is already doing.
Given its history protecting those shawls, it's no surprise it has some pretty solid antifungal and antibacterial properties.
Yeah, that makes it really useful for protective creams, especially for your hands and feet. Any area that gets washed a lot, it creates a gentle, effective barrier.
And for anyone dealing with problem skin, like maybe eczema-prone or acne-prone skin, the advice was very clear. Low concentrations.
Absolutely essential.
Mhm.
Low and slow. At high levels, it might be a bit too heavy, but at low concentrations, its calming, anti-inflammatory side can be incredibly helpful.
The blog suggested pairing it with Fergonia oil for that.
Which is a beautiful combination for skin that's feeling really inflamed or reactive.
Let's shift to hair care for a second. It was described as having a balancing effect on the scalp, which seems almost contradictory.
It's a great little balancing act, though. For an oily scalp, it can help regulate sebum production, but it's also gentle and moisturizing enough that it won't aggravate a dry or sensitive scalp. It just sort of nudges everything back towards the middle.
And I love the practical deodorizing idea, like if your hair picks up smoke from a bonfire or something.
Oh, it's brilliant for that. It
Yeah.
just grabs onto those unwanted smells and helps wash them away. The blog suggested a body wash blend of patchouli, cedarwood, and lavender.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
It's a really rich, earthy, cleansing blend.
Okay, that's a perfect transition into its emotional uses and, well, the art of using it in a blend.
Right, because its emotional benefits are, for many people, its main purpose. The thing that really stood out was its ability to just quiet down mental chatter.
Yeah.
If your mind is racing and you feel scattered, it just helps ground your whole system.
The specific mention of caregivers was really powerful. That's a group of people who are so often just running on empty.
That really resonated
Mm.
because patchouli helps create this sense of emotional space, but without being sedating. You don't feel sleepy, you just feel stable, like you can finally set some healthy boundaries.
We should probably also mention its traditional use as an aphrodisiac.
We should.
Yeah.
And the idea is that this comes from its ability to boost confidence, right? From making you feel grounded and secure in your own body.
That makes a lot of sense. And on a more practical note, it's a good insect deterrent in a diffuser, and it can help soothe bites if you put it on well diluted, of course.
Of course.
So, blending, this is where the skill comes in because it has such a huge personality.
The number one rule that came through loud and clear was
Yeah.
less is more. Always.
Right.
Its strength means it works best in the background, as a quiet support, as that bass note. It shouldn't be the main event.
And that fixative quality is so important there, especially in those cannabis topples we mentioned. It holds the blend together without fighting with the other ingredients.
Exactly. But if you do find that earthy aroma a bit too much, there are ways to soften it. Blending it with lavender or geranium or frankincense can really smooth out the edges.
Or just a tiny bit of citrus can lift it, right?
Just a drop. It brings in some brightness without losing that grounding effect. We saw a great diffuser blend for a grounded calm. Patchouli, lavender, frankincense, and sweet orange.
And the deep woods blend was cedarwood, lavender, patchouli, and bergamot.
And you notice in those blends, patchouli is probably the smallest amount.
Hmm.
You just need a little to get all the benefits.
Let's connect this to the bigger energetic picture, the
Yeah.
different traditional systems.
Yeah, this is where it all comes together. So it strongly supports the root chakra. That's our center for stability, safety, feeling anchored.
That feels obvious with how earthy it is.
Totally. But it also supports the sacral chakra, which is about sensuality and emotional flow, and even the solar plexus for confidence.
And the crown chakra, which I found surprising.
Me too. But it makes sense. It provides a grounded clarity. It keeps your head from getting lost in the clouds.
And in terms of Chinese medicine, the blog mentioned how it helps with emotional overload.
It does. It's said to support the spleen system, which, when it's out of whack, can lead to overthinking and worry. Patchouli's steadiness helps clear that mental clutter.
And the heart and colon systems, too.
Correct. Which are connected to joy and release. So for someone who has trouble letting go, or who feels a lack of joy, patchouli provides that grounding needed to gently release what's not helping anymore.
I think we have officially rescued patchouli from its old reputation. Just before we finish, a quick reminder on safety.
Definitely. It has a great safety profile. As long as it's used sensibly and well diluted, it's generally really well tolerated, even on sensitive skin.
So the main caution isn't really about danger, it's just about not overdoing it.
That's the key. The scent is powerful. Too much can be overwhelming and might give some people a headache. You want to whisper, not a shout. Always dilute. Always start low.
Fantastic. So we've covered a lot of ground today, a lot of chemistry, a lot about building these really thoughtful blends. If you've been listening and you're ready to put some of this into practice, I want to give you a friendly tip.
Yeah, you should really check out 420formulator.com. They've got a huge library of free skincare formulations and resources that are based on exactly this kind of deep knowledge. It's just a brilliant place for anyone wanting to learn more.
It really is the perfect next step. And
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
Okay.
Patchouli essential oil is so unique because its aroma deepens and becomes more complex and elegant with age. And maybe think about how that mirrors the idea that real, true self-care, the kind that patchouli supports, is also a consistent long-term practice. It yields much deeper, richer, and more elegant results in your life than any quick fix ever could.